Hey guys, my name is Tyler, and I want to talk about something that's been cropping up since late 2012 that I'm really bothered by. And it's this whole new age social justice crap that's been popping up in video games, and it's got me really confused. I'm not confused because I don't understand it, I'm confused because I understand and I disagree with every major complaint about it that's been made so far. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm 20 years old, I'm going to be 21 in March, and I've been playing video games since I was 4 years old. The first three games that I can remember playing are Duke Nukem, Street Fighter 2, and Super Mario World. And I've loved video games my entire life from those games, and those are some of my favorite games of all time. But I never have found video games offensive. I find video games to be truly the most interesting form of entertainment. And without some exceptions like Custer's Revenge, I've found video games to be pretty harmless. I believe video games are an emerging art form, and with every good piece of art, there are bound to be bad ones. But do you know how you stop the bad ones from becoming more popular without looking like an asshole who demands that everyone meet the same level of quality that you do? Don't buy the game. And it seems simple enough when you really point it out like that, but it's not. And that's really what this video is about today. Since 2012, there's been this push in video games to meet a certain level of social justice quality, or you're going to be under attack from social justice warriors who complain about your artistic vision because they are offended but you may hurt their feelings. It's 2014 now, and while this just seems like it's going to start dying down, it is nowhere near over yet. And we have to deal with people who think video games are sexist because it has boobs and it has butts in it. And I just don't get that, because back in the 1920s, during the first parts of the real feminist movement, there were women who we called flappers, women who wore less clothes then than what was socially acceptable. And that was a form of empowerment for them, and they got a lot of heat for it. But the time in which that was shocking passed and it became normal. Time has repeated itself to the point where now women can be almost naked if they chose to. So where during this did it become a problem? And even then, if you have such a problem with it, why would you complain about it in video games? And why not be complaining about it that it's happening in the real world? I don't understand exactly what split this group down the middle between the nudities obscene and the nudities empowerment groups, but I really wish there was at least a debate between the two. However, these people really don't want to debate, they want to demand. I demand that these women have smaller breasts. I demand these women have more clothing. I demand these women are just men in wigs. And I demand these women aren't just men in wigs. And that really is the biggest issue of all of them. And it's no matter what happens, they're not going to be happy. You cannot appease these people. If you give them an inch, they take a mile with all these complaints. These groups of people would rather complain about non-issues online in a video game than rather spend their money or time trying to fight these actual issues in the real world. And then you realize that these people don't care. They do this to escape from the fact that most of them live relatively privileged lives in a first world nation. And rather than spending their time trying to help a third world nation evolve to fight the issues that their country has already overcame before most of them were alive, they're going to complain about how the sorceress in Dragon's Crown has too large a breast. I just don't get it. And I want to give you two recent examples that really just show you how this is a losing fight for people who are against this. And it will also show you that these people don't know what they're talking about, but for some reason people will listen to them. And the first just happened like 2 or 3 weeks ago, where a female writer for US Gamer said that a scene akin to rape made her feel uncomfortable during their preview of Castlevania Lord of Shadows 2. The scene in question showed Dracula, the vampire, killing a family in first-person view. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. Dracula is a bad dude. You're not supposed to like him. He's the villain. So he kills an innocent family. Okay, good. I don't like him. But wait, he doesn't just kill the family. Because according to this woman, Dracula only kills the father and then grabs the woman and drains her blood, which feels like he raped her. Okay, and Dracula has been like this throughout history. The earliest stories show Dirac going around and being a womanizer, wooing women, luring them into secluded areas, and then draining their blood. Which, does that feel like rape? Okay, so he raped her. If he did rape her, so what? He's the villain. If he raped her, I'd hate him. I mean, granted, I'd hate him after he killed the family, or after he killed the father. But if you want to say that rape is worse than murder, then yes, after he raped her, that would really make me hate this guy. But no, you can't. Every villain nowadays needs to be a Looney Tunes cartoon villain who doesn't do anything really bad, but I don't agree with that. The developers come out and said that this is an adult game for adults that's going to have adult themes to it. So, if he did rape her, it still falls into the category of adult themed, and I don't see the problem with that. But here's the kicker. The way she described it happening didn't happen. So, she lied, but then went on to say, I hope the developers remove this scene from the game. Because she felt that a scene was akin to rape. So now, according to her, legitimate complaint to have things censored is, I want this changed because I'm offended by a feeling. How fucking dare you? How dare you cry, I'm offended, and then say the developer needs to censor the game for you? He kills the family in first person. That's it. That's all that happens. And even if there was worse scenes, he's a villain and you're not supposed to like him. So I don't see the problem. The second example I wanted to bring up, and this one really frustrates me, it was the fallout from the design of Quiet in Metal Gear Solid 5. If you don't know already, I'm a pretty big Metal Gear fan, and I've been really looking forward to playing the new one. But ever since Quiet's design was shown, the internet has been throwing a fit about it. The biggest issue here, other than the obvious, is that this is a Metal Gear game. The game where you spend... This is the game series where you spend 40 minutes running around not nearly naked, but completely naked as a male character. And where was the feminist outcry then? No, see, there was no outcry because most of these people did not play video games. They only know about this game and are complaining about it. So, if we even look at every Metal Gear game, and we'll do that. We should take a second, go and look at every Metal Gear game. You will see that nearly every character is sexualized in one way or another, male or female. Every character. Why? Because that's the world that this game takes place in. It's weird. Male and female, it's how the show goes. That's the way the series is. This one will be no different, so why is the outcry just showing up for this game? Hideo Kojima himself said there is a reason in the game story why she dresses the way she does. And I think we should at least wait until we play the fucking game before we jump to conclusions here. But the big problem with that is most of these people who are complaining are not going to play the game and don't play video games at all. They just complain about them. In closing, I really believe that video games are an art form. This art form has been growing and evolving for nearly 30 years, but it is still in its infancy and we need to allow it to grow without telling it that it needs to change to fit our social views. If you truly think video games are an art form, you have no right to demand that it be censored by the creators because you disagree with it. If people like you existed during the Renaissance, you would have created an artistic dark age of which humanity may have never recovered. If the piece does not speak to you, you cannot just demand that it be changed, because that piece may speak to other people. Art is art, and all is fair. That's all I really have to say about the issue. My name is Tyler, and I'm really happy that you watched the video all the way through.